Hi, Art Kurtz here for Easy Access Math, and today we are going to do scientific notation, specifically division in scientific notation. Now take a look here. I have two terms in scientific notation, 3 times 10 to the 5th over 6 times 10 to the 2nd, and I'm going to divide. Now basically, the big numbers, the base numbers, you divide like you normally would. 3 divided by 6 comes out to 0.5. Always times 10 in scientific notation. And remember the rules for division of exponents. You subtract. So I subtract 2 from 5, and I have 3. And there's my answer. But it's not correct. If you remember, the format of scientific notation is one number in the whole numbers place and everything else after a point. And that whole numbers place can be any digit from 1 to 9, not 0, and of course nothing over 9. This is a 0, so I must change that. I have to move the place, so I end up with 5 times 10. But I made that bigger. I went from 0.5 to 5. It went up. So the exponent has to go down 1 to 2. And my answer is 5 times 10 to the 2nd power. Remember, it's like a balance. If this goes up from 0.5 to 5, it went higher, then the exponent has to go down. And that's what happens in division when you must make an adjustment. Let's look at this one. It's a little different. I have a negative on the bottom. 4 divided by 8, again, is also 0.5, if you do the calculation, times 10. And my exponent, I have a 3, and I subtract a negative 5. Now, if you remember the rules of subtraction of sign numbers, you had to do that change. You had to change subtraction to addition. And 3 subtract negative 5 is actually 3 plus 5. And if you want to review subtraction of sign numbers to see why, but 3 plus 5, because this does change in subtraction, is 8. So I have 0.5 times 10 to the 8th. Now, that's of course not in the format, so I'm going to move it. It becomes 5 times 10, and I made this bigger, so this has to go 1 smaller. Let's try one more. Let's say I had 4 times 10 to the 3rd over 8 times 10 to the 9th. Well, I did the math on this before, so I know 4 divided by 8 is 0.5 times 10, and 3 divided by 9, exponent, you subtract. It's a positive, so I'm subtracting a positive 9, and that gives me a negative 6. Giving me 0.5 times 10 to the negative 6, not the proper format. So I have to move it and change it to 5 times 10. And since I made this bigger, I have to go 1 smaller than negative 6. Think about that. What's 1 smaller than negative 6? It's negative 7. That's 1 less than negative 6. I hope you weren't thinking negative 5, because things are a little different in negative numbers. And this is how you divide in scientific notation.